Let's talk about it. And before we even start, uh, I am glad to be back. I had a week away. We went on a cruise, and it was nice. It was a nice getaway, relaxing. We went to Nassau, Half Moon Cay or something like that. But it was nice. I needed to get away for a little bit and hang out with the family. I also this was the first time we actually went on a family trip with my dad's side of the family.
Oh,
We had never done that before, and so it was really special, and really had a good time.
did you cry?
And did I cry? Man, quit it, brother. No, I ain't cried. It was nice and it was enjoyable. Not all my cousins got to go.
Oh,
One of my cousins, she's overseas in Europe, so she had to stay there.
mm,
And then my other cousin and his wife, he's a police officer. He couldn't come. So, but we're planning our next trip, and hopefully they're going to be able to be there, and all of us to be there at one time. So, it was really a special trip with that particular group, a family that had never been together on a vacation before. So, but I enjoyed it. I'm rested. I'm ready to come back, and I actually did watch the podcast last week, and I want to say thank you very much and congratulate y'all, man, because that was really an awesome podcast, and I hope everybody got a lot out of it, especially those that have children, because if your children are in sports and you play sports, actually to go back and listen to it all over again, because are you one of those parents that you might be doing it ignorantly, trying to live through your child and their athletics and their sports, and not
mm-hmm.
just sports, but I mean, even you have even moms and stuff that are trying to live through their daughters with the pageants
The
and all that other
pageants.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
And those poor girls, man, they go through so much, not on stage, but at home with their mama. At home with their
They,
mama, man. That's you're not standing right. Yeah, here, this is how you do it. And she's doing all her little
yeah.
poses and stuff, reminiscing about when she was on stage.
I look at that and those levels of stress that it's attributed to those there or that is placed upon those kids, it leads them to caffeine addictions, which is gateway to harder addictions.
Hmm.
Like they're doing long hours of practice, and as they do long hours of practice, and then the heavy requirements, the heavy burden of practice and getting it right, and the pressure to be perfect,
Hmm.
that leads them to other addictions because it's coping mechanisms.
Sure.
It's literally them trying to cope with the amount of stress that's placed upon them.
Hmm.
Like those girls in the pageants, a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of them, the behind the scenes. Oh my
Yep.
god, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, you watch those movies, and those movies aren't lying. Those movies
Yeah.
are that's the truth. These young women, these young girls, uh, and the moms, the sons that are going. We look at football, we look at baseball. These guys that
Hmm.
these parents and they're pushing these sports on these children, and my thing is, I thought about it. I'm like, man, is this one of the they might be good. They actually
Yeah.
might be really good
Right.
and be very athletic, and they do make it. But
Hmm.
they're doing something in their life that they were forced to do, and we think that they're enjoying themselves on the gridiron. They're enjoying themselves on the
Man,
basketball court, and they're not. It's just something that they're good at, and that's all they know because what they were forced to do.
I
And
hate it when they
so,
become the meal ticket for the whole family.
right. So you wouldn't be that. if it wasn't for me. You know, I know it's your job to take care of mom and dad. It's your job to take care of your sisters and brothers because I got
Yep.
you here. And this, I believe, um, and I'm just, kind of going over what you guys were talking about because it was really profound. And our professional players, when we wonder, they're like, they found them dead in their home. They found them dead in their hotel. And are they really just so they don't enjoy their life, and it gets to a point to where they take their life, and
Sometimes
a
I
lot
think
of it
like,
is it's from their
well,
parents, forcing them.
see, Deion Sanders spoke to that. He was on another podcast called The Pivot, and it's sports athletes who are, these are former athletes and that who interview current athletes and former athletes. And he mentioned, you know, at a time when, now this is public, so I'm not telling this man's business. Um, he mentioned a time when he was suicidal. He said because people didn't know him, people just knew Prime.
Yeah.
And when he had went through that divorce, his babies was taken from him, and he said he felt like those were the only people that really knew him and loved him, just because he was him,
Yeah.
not because he was prime time. Like everybody else wanted him for what he could do on the field, and he had obligations to fulfill and stuff. And I was looking at that, and I thought about that was back then. Now the pressure, I'm not going to say the pressure is greater because there's more money, but everybody's trying to be that next, like that next it guy
That
or that
next it.
next it girl,
Yeah.
and it's like, but you lost the essence of fun, of the fun nature of it. So in sense, we may not be millionaires, man, but sometimes we got the best of the situation when we didn't make it pro.
That's
You know,
true.
we talk about our stresses, but sometimes those guys would love to trade shoes with us
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because of, I kind of wonder, do they sometimes feel like they're in a bit of slavery
Oh yeah, definitely. And you
because of
and
their
you also,
obligations?
yeah, the obligations to their
Yep.
family, to themselves, to even their alma mater.
Yeah. You gotta come back. You
Yeah,
gotta come
yeah.
back and give back.
Sure, sure. Because everybody's going to throw back at you where you came from,
Yeah.
where you came
Absolutely.
from, and you're always going to feel like you have to. And you said something. First of all, man, I want to go back because I didn't even ask you how your week is going so far. I know it's just Tuesday.
So so far it is good. Um, and I was wearing, it's odd. I ain't gonna say odd. It's funny that you had asked me that because I'm wearing these bracelets Brother Davis had sent out to
Hmm.
a lot of the youth, and mine says, "Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer." And I wear this to remind myself of those things.
Hmm.
Rejoice in the hope. Hope doesn't mean that it's over. But if you have hope, you know it's gonna be. And if I have hope, then I know there's victory
Right.
because I'm believing. I have faith. And to be patient is, well, while I'm waiting, how am I waiting? You know. And I wear this just, and I look at it every now and then. It says, "Be patient in tribulation." And like I had talked about on Sunday when I had my moment to testify, yeah, I'm going through it, but honestly, I can honestly look, and I know we're live. I'm fine. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I give myself a I give myself an 8, man.
I like your honesty because some people say, well, if you're really if you're really waiting and you're putting it all in God's hands, you would give yourself a 10. You forget the humanality.
But
Forget the
I
humanality.
still see.
Yeah, you still see the
Yeah.
seeing doesn't. Okay, you can say if the wind is blowing, you're gonna see your cheeks and stuff, right?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
you're gonna feel
Yeah.
that pressure on your face.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're not gonna end up in the same place that God had already. Just because you can feel the wind on you,
Yeah.
don't mean that.
Absolutely.
So the wind or the pressure, I know the result, but the pressure makes me feel like it's an 8. I can't give you a
Hey,
10.
listen, I still feel the pressure. I still see what the circumstances, but I honestly, y'all, I have hope. And I'm not saying this like I'm trying to convince myself.
Yeah.
No, like I really, I feel good. And like last week, I asked Tyree. I said, "Well, what would make you the next number up?" I think he might have said 8 too. And I
Mhm.
said, "What would make you the next number up?" And now in counseling, we say what would make it go down and what can make it go up. And his was simple, like him having a Pepsi, because it reminded him of a simpler time. For me, I think the thing that would take me to the 9 right now, being able to watch a movie. I mean, go to the movie theater
Mhm.
because it's simple.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my truth. Being able to go to the movies with my wife and my children, or my wife, whichever, and we just because my thing when I go is I get some popcorn and I'll get a Coke. I don't care about anything else. I want a popcorn, which whatever size.
Mhm.
Light, I gotta do light butter because they sometimes
I don't do butter at all. Me and Stephanie don't
they
do butter at all. It makes her stomachs hurt.
I do light. I do light and a Coke.
And that gives you that'll put you at your 9.
Yes, sir. That'll put
I'm
me in my 9.
I'm with you. Uh a movie, popcorn, sitting with the wife and the kids. And dad, if some of y'all might not be able to see here, but I did just that the other day. I went to
That's
go watch
cool.
Superman.
That's
And I,
cool.
and I got me a Superman bucket. If y'all haven't noticed around in my office around me, I have the Superman bucket, which Trey is already trying to confiscate from me. And I have the Optimus Prime hat head. That's a popcorn bucket.
Man, that's the
I
coolest one.
I have I don't know if you've seen my Batman. It's
Wait,
actually
no, I haven't.
you know how they call Batman and put his signal in the air. Well, I
Yeah.
have the light that put the and it's a matter of fact, it's right here. Listen, man, I'm a big kid,
Wait, where did you get that though? Stop, bro. Come
and
on.
so it's a popcorn and it's a light.
Oh, that's
So I can turn the
cool.
lights off and I can
Yeah.
give the bat signal.
Yo,
So
how did you find that? How did you find
all
that?
you get them at the theater. AMC does it. Trey got me. Listen, y'all. My son
Man.
Trey, Caleb is an influencer on shoes. So every time I go see Caleb, I end up leaving Caleb with 2 extra pair of shoes because he takes me to the
Yeah.
outlets, and it just so happened that the outlets always have a sale when I go.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
and so Stephanie's like, "Really? You needed another pair of shoes?"
Yes.
And so these are I think things like that. I love if buying a pair of shoes will probably make me at my 9. But it's even
Okay.
more if I'm with my son because Caleb will always say,
Yeah.
"Nah, nah, don't not them," you know.
Hmm.
And then and movies, even if they're corny, I love to watch a movie with my wife, and she usually picks some of the corniest movies. And after the
I think they be
movie,
testing this.
yeah, after the movie, you're like, well, that's 2 hours I won't get back, you know.
Oh, that's Tavy.
Yeah, but
Man, that's Tavy.
she's
She
been
does
good.
that.
She's been good lately. She's been good lately. Like on some series, we've been watching some detective shows and different things like that. So yeah, yeah, they're fun.
Ah,
And I,
my
those, you're right. Those, that's the nines for me.
yeah, Tavy, she be in those the Asian dramas. And I used to fuss about it because I'm like, I don't
Teddy
want
want
to
to be
read the
Asian.
whole time. I just want to watch the show. And then I don't know, man. I started like, hey, what did they do on this on their next episode that I missed?
Yeah.
I kind of got into it, so I get that. Yeah, just kind of
Hmm.
that to me that's just slowing down because I have you have so many things you got to go and do, and just to be able to like watch a movie and just relax. That's slowing down. I think that'll put me in. That's what I'm saying. To put me in my nine. The concept of just hey, we just gonna watch this movie. We're relaxing.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So tonight, I kind of want to talk to you about something. Um, Before I went on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go. I had to go into the bank, and there were some things that for this project the
Oh
church
yeah,
is doing.
yeah.
And you told me you kind of actually it was like warning me or kind of preparing me, and you probably didn't even know you were preparing me for what I was about to go into the building,
Mm-hmm.
into that business, and and so when I went in there, exactly what you said was going to happen, or be prepared for it to happen. And because of that, I've been really, really thinking about that situation and my response and what should have my response been. Did I do the right thing? And I believe I
Mm-hmm.
did the right thing. And I know some people are going to be like, okay, then what happened? Well, going into a business and they going into the bank, the lady, before I went to her, she had a smile on her face. She was joking and laughing with the lady in front of me. And when I come up to the register, the whole demeanor changes. The whole demeanor changes. And she's like, what can I do for you? Like, I'm like, wow. In my mind, I'm like, that just changed just like that. I just saw you laughing and smiling and everything else. And
Right.
so I told her what I needed. I told her that I need a cashier's check, blah, 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 blah. And she's gonna ask me, well, are you even on that account? And I'm like, wow, that's just really nasty. And first of all, I had dealt with her before. And
Oh, oh,
right.
that.
So I'm like,
Well,
you
that's a
you
different
don't
detail there.
you don't remember me. You don't remember me. You don't remember that you gave me a cashier check already before. And so, but also now you're being really nasty. And when I asked you for the amount, it's like it's an amazement. And so I get the cashier's check. First of all, she didn't even tell me to have a nice day. I told her to have a nice day. And when I went to go get to the place that I had to go give the cashier's check to, the guy, he asked me, no, I had to go somewhere else and get another cashier's check. And he says, you guys must have a lot of people in your church or something. Really? What makes you, because
Yeah.
I was able to give you the amount that you said to give you.
Mm-hmm.
You automatically are assuming, or you assumed when you first saw me, that I couldn't give it to you when you told me that you need it. And when I gave it to you when you asked for it, or when you told me that that was the price, you automatically went into, the only way we could have that if we had a lot of people, which was none of your business anyway. So a lot of that really bothered me, but I
Mm-hmm.
kept my integrity, and I said, I was like, oh, God's blessing. I said God's blessing. He's really doing, really good things. And even with the
Mm-hmm.
lady at the bank,
Right.
I told her to have a nice day. You were nasty to me. That's just telling you to have a nice day. That was like me giving you a tip because I didn't have to say have a nice day. You
Yeah.
were nasty with me. You're banking what you are in a kind of customer service. So the way you treat me is I could give you, well, you have a nice day too, or I just walk away. But I still gave her,
Hmm.
hey man, have a nice day. So my question to you
Wow. Okay.
is, how do we deal with racism as Christians? How do we deal with racism as Christians? You know, because theologically, racism, we got to go into the theologically of the clarity of grace, practical grace,
Mm.
um,
Hmm.
where today racism today, whether Jesus himself even experienced a type of racism. You know, when
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
start talking,
Yeah.
we start
Yep.
talking about the Jews and the Samaritans.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
so us as Christians, my question to you to open this conversation is, and I really want our audience to really glean into this and think about it. Think about your own response to racism from people toward you, and also think about, am I displaying a form of racism? And I'm Christian.
Okay.
And Christian, if to even open to even now to open this up, we also have to say, because not everybody's a Christian, and Christian
Hmm.
equals Christ-like. So I hand that over to you, bro.
Okay. So if I remember right, you said, how does a Christian deal with racism?
Yep.
How they supposed to deal with racism? Okay.
How do we deal with
All right.
racism?
So okay. So textbook, the way we're supposed to deal with racism is number one, in love. That's absolute. So I will tell you that the way you handled that situation at the bank, you did good.
Mhm.
Like, you did good. Um, and God has a way of, I guess you say, warning or preparing us for things to come. Like in that moment, you're right. I didn't know that I was warning you or preparing you. I was talking. I was like,
Mhm.
hey, at that point it was just brother to brother, because when you had told me, it just came out.
Mhm.
I was just talking. However, nothing is really said by happenstance when you're dealing with God. So he will use people to give you the warning, sometimes even when that person don't realize that they're speaking to something you're dealing with, or something that you're getting ready to deal with. So
Mhm.
for instance, a lot of times when we're given the word, we don't know exactly your situation. Sometimes you reveal what your situation is, or, oh, that bullet point was for you. You reveal it and you be like, you was all in it. Man, that wasn't prophetic. That was God just talking to you. I'm
Right.
just the vessel at that moment. Now, um, so the textbook answer, yes, is with love. The textbook answer is with humility, because love will humble itself even after it's apparent that you're hating me, even after it's apparent that you're attacking me. Love will still humble itself. Now, this is why the reason I say that is because we want to fight a lot, whether it be verbal, whether it be whether it be um, physical, and there are times where somebody putting their hands on you. I'm not gonna tell you that you don't need to defend yourself. I will never tell a man not to defend himself. I will never tell a man not to defend his wife. I will never tell a woman not to defend herself or her children. I won't do that because yes, there is a physical nature to this world, and we do have to. Because I'm going to defend my wife.
Hmm.
I'm going to defend my children. But now we always have to think about the ministry too. Where is the ministering point in this? And it's hard. It is extremely hard to deal with the ministering fact, especially when the person is only using words. Because it's easy to go there when they do these, when they put these up. I
Right.
can
Could you
meet you where
go?
you at.
Right. Yeah.
But when all they using is this right here, and it becomes a thing of poking the bear. I'm gonna poke the bear, poke the bear, poke the bear. And then when you blow up, I don't know what I did to make him do that or make her do that. Or you're the angry, you know, person. Sometimes, a lot of times we look at it through the lens of being black. Uh, you're the angry black man or you're the angry black woman, and that person's been poked and poked and poked and poked.
Hmm.
Okay, now and I'm gonna move quickly, but on the other side of that, what about the times when we're being racist towards other races, and sometimes we know it and sometimes we don't know it. We make microaggressive statements when we talk about the way people cook, when we talk about the way people's rhythm is set up.
Yeah.
Like, what is white rhythm? What is black rhythm? That's wrong. When you look at it in its essence, we have some people in our church who don't have rhythm,
Right.
but that's
Whether
issue
whether
is
whether they be
black or
black
white,
or white,
right? So it
whether they be
really should
black or
just be.
white.
You can't say, man, you got white people rhythm. That's not fair.
Yep.
That's not fair, and that's not right.
Yep.
Okay, you can't
Yes. Yeah.
say you got black people rhythm. Like
Right.
I'm just being raw. You can't say now when we say soul food, let's go to the cooking for a second. Soul food is always associated with who?
Black people.
Now, I done met some white folks that can cook, man.
I got it, but I got the. I don't believe that right there is a form of racism because soul food came from the way the African cooked, the African the way the slave had to cook, and how and what they had and what they used and made it taste the way it did. And a lot of the food that we had that we eat now that is almost a delicacy. Back then, it was it was the leftovers, and they took
Okay,
that
I
stuff
see what you're saying,
and
but
but when we say soul food, it is the type of food that you were cooking, not the flavor, but which flavor does have a lot to do with the way they did cook. But when we say soul food,
true.
I believe what they're really saying is this is the type of food that the black man and the black woman cooked
Okay,
during the time of slavery and stuff.
and I'm gonna raise you one. So
Okay.
when your intent is to belittle or to ostracize another, that's where racism come in.
Correct. That is
So
right.
that's what I'm talking about. Now I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you on that part. That's where it came from. But if I use it now, it's nothing wrong to own and to be good with the skin that you're in.
Hmm.
I'll say it all day. My black is beautiful. My skin complexion is impeccable. God
I just
bless
want to let
me.
everybody know that his mirror might be cloudy. No, I'm messing with you, bro.
But I'm just saying, it's okay to have confidence in yourself, but don't have confidence to put somebody else down.
Hmm.
That's what I'm getting at. So if
That is
I like,
true.
Like if I'm saying like my skin, I believe my wife tells me she loves my complexion. She loves my skin.
Hmm.
That's the only opinion that matters. You right? Okay,
Is
now,
that the go ahead, and I'm go ahead.
but now here's where racism comes in.
Hmm.
If I then start talking about a group of people,
Hmm.
if I say white people don't age good, that's wrong.
Comedian said that
We
on the boat. That
huh?
exact that exact thing you just said. That was the joke that the comedian said on the boat. And there's
So
a
but you
room
see what I'm
full of
saying?
Nick. Yeah. Hmm.
And these are micro things. Like we'll laugh about it, but
Right.
what about the person who is white that's offended? Okay, now it's major when a white person says those things about certain things about us,
What
but
you say?
we can dish it at
Mhm.
times.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's on both sides of the house. We all have to check ourselves because when we say we're Christian and we have to understand that yeah, we put on a new identity, but we still living in this.
Hmm.
We're still living in this right now. And
Yeah.
so when I go to places and there's people looking at me say, "Yes, I see it. Yes, I experience it." Okay, so now how am I supposed to handle this? And for what I think should not happen is my experience in this skin be belittled by someone else of the same skin.
Hmm.
You may have experienced things back in your day, or if you're currently we're the same, you know, age bracket or whatever,
Hmm.
and you're experiencing things and it's something you can handle. Don't belittle what was traumatizing to me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to get over it. Don't tell me to suck it up because you until you walk in these shoes, you don't understand how traumatizing that could have been.
Now
If
we.
it was my first time experiencing this
Mhm.
and this didn't happen to me, but let's say for instance, uh, some people out in my front yard and they got the hoods on.
Right.
That will weird me out.
It
And
would
so
weird me.
for
It would weird me out, and then I would be opening up this nice box I got behind my back.
okay now, right. And so for another person to say, "Oh, I was a part of this or I was a part of that and I understand, but get over that."
Hmm.
But that would hurt me as a person because my experience, don't belittle my experience because you went through more. And I liken this to the military.
Hmm.
Remember when we went downrange, right? What
Hmm.
was the NCO's job? One of the NCO's job is to keep you
The
have to
morale,
also
the morale of the
keep your
people, the
morale up.
morale of your team. Yeah.
But you can damage when you're trying to build morale by
Hmm.
belittling the guys. Oh, you pansy. Oh, you slew foot, you sissy foot. You know what I'm saying? Some of these things and belittling. If that soldier done told you he twisted his foot on a rock because we walking on rocks and he took a bad step, oh, you soft. No, he's hurt or she's hurt.
Hmm.
Okay, address the need and see what's going on for that person and get them back up. But don't belittle them because of you may have twisted your foot and you can walk. You're fine. That doesn't make you better than them. You see what I'm saying? And so sometimes when we deal with it, and I'm saying as in a lot of black people, let's say it like that. There are times where if you didn't experience the level of aggression that I've experienced, you can't you can't say this hurts. You can't say that your feelings are hurt. You can't say that you were scared.
Hmm.
I'll show you what scared is. That's not fair.
Right. So
Okay.
I see where you're going. I see what you're saying, and I want because Elder Jones said, I don't believe that there is truly a best way to handle racism. It affects people differently. And you're
That
just like
that's
it
yeah.
yes, it affects people differently. And that is, we can't, when our parents feel a certain way,
Hmm.
we can't say, we can say, well, that's not all going on right now. Little things can trigger our parents because they lived
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a time that they had to um, drink from a different water fountain. They
Yep.
had to go to a different bathroom. That they had to look behind their back if they were walking by themselves, going home and different things like
Sure.
that. So those
Right.
things are in still there. They remember that happened,
Mm-hmm.
but the transformation of time, they're still thinking, but there's little things that can trigger that make them remember. That doesn't make them
Absolutely.
racist and don't like, another race, but they do remember where they came from. And I believe it's more they're in worship and praise of where we are now compared to where they were then. And
So,
my
oh,
thing and
okay.
my thing
I'll
is,
wait.
it says Genesis 1 and 27. If we all can really understand it, because we read it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We read it all the time. But do we really believe and understand what it's saying? It says all people, it says that we were created in the image of God. So if we were created in the image of God, every one of us have a part of God about us. There's a piece of him. There we are him. We are created in his image. There's none of us are inferior to another. None of us
I don't disagree with that.
we should not make people feel like they're a lower brand of people because we all come from the same source.
Well, okay. So with that though, I believe what you're saying is true. Now watch this though. Okay, bottom line, fear is fear.
Fear is fear.
Yes or no?
That is correct.
So the fear that was present in 1900,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fear that's present in 1950,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fear that's present in 2000,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fear that's present in 2010, and then the fear that's present in 2025.
Is different.
At the bottom line, it used different tools, but it's
Different
still
tool.
fear.
It's still fear.
Right.
But
Okay.
should it be? But it should it go ahead, finish.
So the only thing I'm saying is the different tool that is used, it's not as egregious as back then. And whereas the person, the flesh and blood, we it has to be when we come into that church. And let's use the church if it's okay.
Oh, we're going there.
If I come into the church and I say, bro, pastor, whoever, I was just like okay, what you dealt with at the bank. Let's say that was me.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is don't minimize me. Don't belittle because oh, that's it. If this is new to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same as we would nurture a newborn into Christ. We're nurturing them in different facets. Now, I'm not saying baby folks. Okay, let me be clear. I'm not saying we're going to baby each other, but what I'm getting at is if it hurt that person,
Mm-hmm.
we got to remember we got to realize sometimes we have hurt people by telling them to suck it up,
Yeah.
but they were really hurt. It but it affects different. For instance, like you said, certain things trigger the previous generation, right? Okay, like how do you feel about a person coming into church and having their hat on?
How do I feel about it? I
Hmm.
I believe a hat in the sanctuary is is a form of disrespect. I don't want to say it's
Okay,
disrespect. I don't want to say it's disrespect.
I
I
got you.
feel like I'm reverencing God and I'm taking my cover off
Okay, right.
to get to a point of
N-
submission. And I
Now,
just believe, okay, you don't if we don't wear our hat at the dinner table, why would you wear your hat in the sanctuary?
but now, how do you address it when somebody comes? You.
I
How
mean,
do you address? Yes.
I do not, especially if they are a visitor.
Hmm.
I ask that nobody says anything to them,
Perfect.
not to
Why?
say anything
Why?
they don't understand our the way we reverence God in the
Come on.
sanctuary.
Okay, so
But the more they know about our teaching and the way we feel about God and how we feel about the sanctuary, they will, as long as they stay there and they're getting
mhm,
the word, and they will then understand why we do what we do.
absolutely. So now, think back 2 generations ago. It didn't matter if you was a visitor or not. Somebody come up to you, take that hat off your head, man. What's wrong
Yeah,
with you?
right.
Have you no respect for the house of God? Right?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Things have changed, and the way it's delivered has changed. We are more cognizant to just be understanding that that person may not understand this.
and there we
So
go.
why are
Uh-huh.
we understanding
Uh-huh.
and willing to give way for a person's ignorance in a speak
Hmm.
in a sense of that, but we're not willing to give uh, a little bit of leeway for a person's weakness.
Right. Right.
Now, okay, how does that pertain to racism? Racism is weakness.
Correct.
If all I can see is you based on the color of your skin, I don't care who you are. If all I can see is you based on the color of your skin, my viewpoint is weak. I'm not showing the strength that it takes to look inside. Look inside to give that person the benefit to see their quality. I can judge
I
you.
would give weak another word, and that would
Give
be
it.
fear.
Fear is weak. They go
Fears
hand in hand.
fears weak.
Yeah,
I would
those
give
are
it
partners.
you have pride, you have fear, and it's ignorant. It's ignorant,
So
and
what place
they
does it
all
have
got
in
to be treated
Christianity?
as the same.
So what place does it have in Christianity?
There shouldn't be any part in Christianity. None of
Okay.
that should be part. Racism should not have any part in the church. First of all, Micah 6 and 8 commands believers to
Mhm.
act justly, love, mercy, and walk humbly with our God. That does not mean that we ignore it. That doesn't mean that we're going to ignore racism, and it's not going to mean that we're going to accept racism. Martin Luther King didn't accept racism, but Martin Luther King, the way he handled racism was with grace, and he was teaching grace. He was teaching people how to love each other. He was telling people that we're created in God's image. But the only thing is, also, we also have to speak up for the oppressed. If I know that you're being uh, treated like that, and
Mhm.
people are showing racism towards you, I should not allow that to continue. I'm supposed to speak
Oh,
up for I'm
okay.
supposed to speak up for the oppressed.
So
Treating
pause
others
that.
equally.
So pause that. Then when is the time to fight?
When is the time to fight?
Because we got
It depends on what's your definition of fighting.
okay. All right, I'll give you that. Now, you said MLK was teaching us was not us, but he was teaching a doctrine of love, right?
Hmm.
To love, because he talked about all men are created equal and all men should be able to worship together. I get that. And to be able to go to school together and all these good things. But at what point should we put this guy in there? Because Malcolm X was on the opposite of that.
Correct. And I
Or
don't.
or let me add this to the question.
Mhm.
Should that viewpoint be there? Because there, as
Glad
far
you
as I'm
said that.
concerned,
Glad you
because the
asked.
Bible does tell us there's a time and a place for things. There's a
Hmm.
time to cry,
Hmm.
there's a time to laugh.
Hmm.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. And in that passage of scriptures, there's a time of peace
Hmm.
and there's a time of war.
Okay.
So at what point, because we can't use the Bible to keep a person down that been beat down, been beat down, been beat down. Eventually they gonna want to fight.
Hmm.
So my question,
Okay.
when we're presented with this,
Mm.
pastor, elder, man, I'm tired. I'm tired of being beat down. I'm tired of these such and such, such and such, because they having a week, or let me not say week. They're having a fleshly moment that they're tired of being oppressed
Hmm.
within their environment.
Okay.
Because the oppression today is, yes, we know it's not exactly the same, but it's one of them things that keep ticking at you, keep ticking at you, keep ticking at you.
Hmm.
Sometimes people will say things, sometimes people will do things, and these microaggressions that keep going on and on and on. And I would venture to say sometimes it would come off as worse in senses,
Hmm.
because if you react, you are not seen as actually reacting, you're actually seen as aggressive, not as that's what I meant, not as retaliating.
Hmm.
So now when that person comes to us and they are so annoyed and they just frustrated and they're ready to be Malcolm X,
Hmm.
but we're like, you gotta love.
I'm waiting.
How do we in Christianity?
At
Go
no
ahead.
point, because when we start talking about that scripture, there's a time of peace, there's a time of war.
Uh-huh.
At no time are we talking of, I don't believe at no time we're talking about me trying to fight you because you keep pushing me. There's a time of peace and there's a time of war in our nation, in our society, that is going to allow the will of God to happen. The will of God, which means that is going to happen, that is going to allow Him to come. We know that there's wars and rumors of wars. During the rumors, you can
Yeah.
see some chaos. You might not hear rumors, and then there's peace. Okay, then there's going to be war, because there
Uh-huh.
has to be war, because that is the word of God and that's revelation.
Sure.
Now,
Absolutely.
if we say love conquers all, at no time do I believe that if we say we're going to be Christ like and we're Christians,
Mm-hmm.
now I do believe that it is a man's responsibility to protect his home. If there is a gang that tries to break into my house, um, I might not make it, but somebody from them ain't gonna make it either, probably, most likely, because I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
protect my home. I'm
Sure.
going to protect my home.
Sure.
But I don't want
Same.
now. I don't want to confuse war and peace with me as a man protecting my home. Um, I believe love conquers all. And I know people that had to deal with, and this is literally have had to deal with people cussing them out, calling them names other than their
Mm.
legal name.
Right.
But because of their humility and their love for Christ, and they stayed
Excuse me. Sorry.
and they stayed silent.
Mm-hmm.
They were they were they came out on top. There was nothing that the devil could say that came against the person that stayed silent and just prayed and
But
had
Pastor,
wisdom.
I'm tired of being quiet.
Guess
Pastor,
what?
I'm tired of how long do I have to let these jokers on my job do this? And I'm giving you an example. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got it.
How long? How long?
You- How
And the cry is synonymous to what we see in Revelation as those who were going through. Remember that they were going through the tribulation, and
Mhm.
that it says their souls was in the sea of glass,
Okay.
and they cry out, "Lord, how long are you going to redeem?" That is a natural cry of human. Abel
Beautiful.
cried when he was murdered.
Sure.
The the those who were going through the tribulation, even those who were persecuted in the early church. See,
I
it's
I
always going to be that for
I
those
got you,
who are
bro. I
oppressed,
got you, and
their blood is going to cry out.
I believe that sometimes that we try to give excuses to do wrong.
That okay, there we go.
I think we
There we
try to
go.
give excuses
Because I
to
want to
I think
justify.
I want to justify
Yeah.
coming out of my nature. Coming, and when I mean nature, I'm talking about my Christianity. I'm talking about this thing that changed me and renewed my mind, because this mind that was renewed, it don't
Mhm.
think like it did before. It doesn't turn to fighting like it used to. I don't go that I just don't it will take me way. You really got to push me to a point to where, you know, it's how strong are you in God? How is your yoke completely locked up with God? We just
Right.
talked about the yoke,
Yeah.
and that yoke joined with God. Did you actually lock yourself in that yoke? Because
Mhm.
God is pulling a totally different way than what your natural man is wanting to do. So if what you really feel like wanting to do is pulling you, and you're more leaning toward that other yoke, you're gonna come out, you're gonna release yourself from God, and you gotta go into that natural yoke, and you gotta do something, and then you gotta have to go into repentance.
But what
But
if I'm saying I feel like this? Now, I'm Channing's not saying that, I'm just example. But I feel like I'm being my true self when I fight back, man.
no,
I'm being a
you
punk. Hold on. I'm a punk if I don't fight back, man.
that's
Like
pride.
I'm coming to you. Not everybody listen. This is an example, but I'm coming to you as a man. You a man. I'm a man. And you, how would you feel if somebody done came and said these things to you? How would you telling me they could just say what they want to say? They could just walk all over you, and you just gonna take it? I'm a man first.
Mhm. Yes, you are a man. But what is a real man? I'm going to give you what a real man is. A real man is a sanctified man. A real man has found his way with God and has allowed God to guide him in in all understanding. If you don't have God, you're in your own understanding and you lack manhood. God is going to lead you and guide you in the way to go as a man, how to lead his family, how to lead him, how to guide yourself in everyday life. And I'm not saying that somebody that comes against you does not need justice, that there's not going to be that justice does not need to have. You can forgive, okay, but forgiveness doesn't mean silence or inaction. We can forgive our offender while still seeking justice and accountability. Just because you go
Now,
to the
how do you do
courthouse,
that?
just because you go to the police station and say,
Hmm.
this is what they did to me. They just grabbed me and put me in a bin and did all of this, and you go to the police station, and they go and they arrest those men or women. That doesn't mean that you can't forgive them, but justice still has to be had.
Why I can't have my own justice?
because you're not a judger. There's only one judger, and God has set judges and appointed judges. The same way He
Hmm.
has appointed pastors and all other ministerial positions. He has appointed kings. This is why I don't understand why we have such a big argument within the church about uh, kings and presidents and stuff, because he anoints them. He appoints those positions. Nothing happens, nothing is let and let God unless God letteth. So this whole thing that is even come into the church that has divided us, and a lot of it uh is racism. Oh, all the white people voted for Trump and the black people didn't vote for Trump and all this other stuff. This is the stuff that confuses me. This is the stuff that bothers me, because we're supposed to think different. We're supposed to walk different, and our mindsets are different. Everything that happens and is happening, we're supposed to be praying and said, "Okay, God, you must be doing something." It's not
But
about
then
racism.
the folks that voted for him now, Pastor, they acting crazy. They so bold with it. What do I do?
You be silent.
Again, so
You
so
be
when this
silent.
person
You be
so when this
silent, and
person come to me
you
with a
pray.
MAGA hat, this person come to me with a MAGA hat, and this is what they're on. I'm not saying everybody that looks like them
Mhm.
is that. But when I'm seeing this person face to face with me, Pastor, what you telling me that it's okay to let that person walk up to me with that hat on,
Yep.
boy this, boy that, say all of these negative things, and
Mhm.
I ain't supposed to do nothing. Again, Pastor, I'm a man just like you.
All right.
I bleed.
Well, I've seen this
Hmm.
firsthand with our apostle, Bishop Martin, and somebody, the way they talked to him in that form, and he
Yeah.
said, "Well, God bless you. I pray for you." That's our response. I don't listen. We got to stop making excuses or trying to grab hold of an excuse
Yeah.
to say and walk and do what our natural man desires to do. We are a peculiar people. This is the reason why God gave Israel commandments and gave Israel different things that they would not do and do, because they were supposed to be a peculiar people. We are supposed to look different, think different, talk different. And if once we come out of the character of God and we start acting like that to where we want to fight, where we got to have something to say because we got to be bold and we don't want to look like a punk, I'd rather keep my integrity with you, keep my integrity, because once you say something, somebody's watching, somebody is looking, and somebody's listening. And the moment you jump out of character and you say, "Who you calling boy? I'll give you a boy," and all this other
Yeah.
things, and listen. You want to you want to ball your face up at me? Let's go. I'm still a man. Listen, and you are a minister, and you are an elder. You're an evangelist. You're all this that you claim to be. But guess what? All of that just got thrown out of the window. All of that just got thrown out of the window, because guess what? That is going to the streets. What you just did is going to the streets. Now, those that think like you and enjoy and feel like that's the way you should have done, they're going to praise you for that and say, "Yeah, you
Hmm.
know what? You still saved, brother. You still saved, sister." And
God
they
knows. God
they can't.
understands your heart.
Yeah, they not. I understand you, and they just can't. They not going to do that. Wait a minute. They have no integrity. My word tells me that I'm different. My word tells me that I have a transformed mind. And my word tells me that love will conquer all. Your love, and uh the way you come across or come back with
Hmm.
this issue, there could be a do or die with being blood on your hands. It could cause them to either be saved, go back thinking about God and seeing that you're not like what they thought you were supposed to be like. Because many people, I know, I'm telling you, even there are many times that somebody will come up and be an aggressor to try to prove that that is your nature. They're trying to
So
prove that that's your nature, and when you don't act like that, and when you don't come across, you're letting them know that I have a different nature.
so you say nature. The nature of us in the flesh versus the nature of the spirit. What is his will? So there's three questions, everyone, that you need to ask yourself. What is his will in regards to love? So everything we were just talking about today, everything we was discussing, versus what I was saying, and what I was doing was giving just a little bit of examples of what could be said if you're on the minister, you're the one receiving a hurt person. What is God's will? What is His will in regards to love? Uh, us doing our what is us doing our part in His will? What does that look like? That's number two. And then number three, what is my part? Make it personal. So, what is His will in regards to love? What does us doing our part? That's macro, that's the church. You can make that your local assembly or the church as a whole. What does us doing our part in the will look like? And then the final is make it micro, make it personal. What is my part in God's will? When we talk about Christianity versus racism, because we could have took out and in the title here and said versus true Christianity versus racism. We got to understand our nature in this flesh is always going to be combative, juxtaposed or combative to the nature of the spirit, because we're at war with our members.
That's
Paul said, the
that's what
things
it just
that I
said.
do,
Come on.
the
That's
things
what
that
we're
I
about.
do, I don't want to do.
Right.
And the things that I don't want to do, I do. So I'm at war in my members. My mind or my spirit, this the spirit man that's quickening me, is trying to encourage me to fulfill the will of God in
Right.
every situation, even if it costs me my life. What's God's will? Okay. But the nature of me, my physical nature of man, is warring against that. And you can even see that in the Garden of Gethsemane. The flesh didn't want to die. What did he say? If it's possible, let this cup pass.
That's from me. Yes.
But he was quickened. But nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. He gave us an example of what we should say in the midst of facing these trials and tribulations. And then the apostle expounded upon that foundation more to explain that, yes, Jesus understood this. He's still present to understand what we're facing, the temptations that we're facing, the frustrations that we're facing. Racism is one of the things that has plagued mankind since the dawn of time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think so, look at Moses. You can go even further back, but let's just go back to Moses. Aaron and Miriam picked at Moses because he had a black wife. It says they made fun of him, and God didn't like it.
I mean, what about even Nathaniel? Nathaniel even was racist. That joker said, "Can anything good come out of come out of the Nazareth?"
Come on,
I
come
mean,
on, man.
so basically, Jesus, there was a
And
there was a
he
racism.
experienced it.
Sure, there was a racism there. He said, "Can anything come out of a Nazarene?" Come on, man. And
So, and
but
then they
Jesus
all look
debunked.
they all look down on Samaritans.
See,
Uh,
Jesus debunked that one. He told the lady, listen, he offered her living water. She's like, but Jews and Samaritans, we don't communicate. Listen, I don't know what they told you. I don't know
but that's
what.
changing.
Listen, that's changing. That is not what was meant to
Right.
be. Every man.
Yes.
Everybody. And I have man, I gotta find that scripture. Um because this whole thing with the black Hebrew like had bright black Hebrew Israelites and all this stuff talking about only one per it in Revelations, I want to say 5 or 6, it talks about all different tongues from nature from nations
Oh, I think
and,
that's 7. Hold on.
bowing down
I'll find
and
it.
being at the throne from all nations, not just one kind of tongue, but all tongues, all nations that were going to be bowing and worshiping at the throne. So that's telling me that there is the church is from all corners of the earth, from all kind of tongues, all different, all different races. The church is coming out of all the races, not just one. This debunks.
Um, Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. After this, I looked,
Yeah,
and
it
there
is.
before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe,
There we go.
people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb.
Uh huh.
They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hands.
Hmm.
And they cried out in a loud voice, Salvation belongs to our God.
I think we just got disconnected. I think we just got disconnected. But he was saying from Revelations, that verse, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And he's saying that it's just not going to be black Hebrew light, black Israel Hebrewites, whatever they call themselves. It's going to be people from all over. That is going to be that's going to be saved. That's going to make it. That's going to be praising God and giving God thanks in heaven. And I also want to talk about the church and the dynamic of the diversity in the church. And I don't think I'm going to talk about it today, but I think we're going to come back to this next week, because we have this thing where we start talking about the black church and the white church. And if anybody can come and let me know, and it got to be biblical, it's got to be in the word. If you can let me know the difference in God, in the Bible and the word of God tells you that there is a black church and a white church or Asian church, please let me know, and I will go back and I will read it and I will change my mind. But the word of God says that he is coming back for the church. He's coming back for the church, not for the churches. He is coming back for his church. He says, I will build my church. And that's Matthew 16 and 18. That he was going to build his church, not my churches, divided by race, culture, but one body. And Paul confirms this. Go to Matthew 16 and 18. And in Ephesians it says, there is one body and one spirit, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. And that is going to be in everybody. That can be in everybody that accepts God. Everybody that accepts God, you can have God. This is not a different, there he is. This is not a black church, white church. This is the church. He's coming back for the church. So Shannon's back, and I told him that we would come back to this next week, because I really
Okay.
want to talk about how we start talking about black church, white church, because you were talking about earlier about soul food and different things like that. So when we start going into the church, and we start talking. People don't go to some churches because why? There's too many white people, too many black people. They don't preach a certain kind of way. And before I go and before I end this, I want to let people know one of the things that cause racism in the church is itchy ears. I just want you to think about it, and to think about itchy ears. How can that form racism in the church? So I hope today's podcast was a blessing, and I really want us to think about loving each other. I want us to think about our actions before we do something. Think, meditate on God. Uh, God is never going to lead you into a point of confrontation. He is going to lead you into the point of peace. It is your nature. It is your natural man that is fighting to get what it wants. That flesh. And this has been Shannon said it earlier, and Mother Martin was talking about it earlier in her comment. This is not a human battle. This is a spiritual battle.
Right.
We're fighting spiritual. This is a spiritual warfare. You said it. Why do we think that person that's coming against us, that is a spirit? That is the devil using them to try to attack your integrity, try to attack your Christian nature, trying to get you to fall. And so you really got to think about those things before you feel like you need to say some words. Now, remember what I said. It does need to be called out, but you got to call it out with love. And that was the difference between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. One wanted to fight, and one wanted to do it in peace.
So, if you find yourself in the Ozark, Enterprise, Dothan, the tri-state area, tri-city area on Wednesday or Sunday, we would love for you to come to 4081 Andrews Avenue, where we're not just a church, we are a family. That is our motto. Our worship services are at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and on Sunday you can find us on Sunday school time frame at 10 a.m. and then our regular service follows promptly at 11 a.m. We do have we have services for our children during Sunday school, and on Wednesday night we do have youth services. We have youth Bible study as well. So you will be able to have your children learning the gospel while you are participating and learning. And our Bible studies are interactive.
Yes.
Come out on Wednesday night. The Bible studies are interactive. You can get the microphone and you can make a statement or you can ask a question. It's very involved, and everyone there is very enriched. You're emboldened to speak up. Say what's on your, because you have some things that you may need to get answered. You have a viewpoint that makes us all say, so, please come out. If you want to come out and have a good dialogue in the Bible study, come out on Wednesday night.
And remember, there is no dumb question. Remember, the teachers used to tell us in school, there is no dumb question asked.
Yep.
A lot of people hold those questions in, and if you're thinking it, most likely somebody else is thinking it, and the question needs to be asked. And we also want to invite you to next week, starting Thursday, going into Saturday. We're going to be having seminars from starting at 9 o'clock until noon, and then we're going to come that night at 7 o'clock to the regular service. and that is the Bishop World Ministries. And this is our I forgot what year this is,
25th
25th year.
silver anniversary.
So we come to the seminars. If you can't come to the seminars, come to the night service, and I'm telling you, you're gonna be blessed. And the topic this year is living victorious in a chaotic world. Man, so this really think about what we're talking about tonight. There, I don't believe that our world is racist, but I do believe that there are racist people in this world. But how do we get through it, and how do we overcome it? How do we become victorious in this thing? So we want you to be blessed. We want you to have a beautiful week. And we'll see you next Tuesday on the next podcast. Let's talk about it with William and Channing. God bless you.
God bless you.